Streaming. Okay.
Wow, here we are.
Yeah. You know we out here.
We out here, yo.
Yeah.
What up, internet?
Yep. We're
Yeah.
doing a year in review. I am also playing with audio levels, so if any of the non-people out there want to send me a complaint 6 months later, feel free. Yep, here with John and Michi, at least for the time being. God damn, 2024 happened.
Yeah.
It sure did.
Wow.
And now it's over.
That's what I got.
Thank God. Hey, guys, there was a lot of video games in 2024.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
there
played.
sure were.
I played so many. I learned of so many new hip games.
Really,
that the
really,
kids are
Green. Why don't you
playing.
give us? Why don't you give us your short list?
Yeah,
then
I
of
played.
What are your favorites?
I played that new Doom game.
No, I didn't
didn't
think
come
the
out in
Doom game came out in 2024, but I guess I haven't been paying attention. How was that new Doom game?
Yeah, it was cool because I tried to play the original earlier this year and it was just too clunky, and then I
Yeah.
played the remake.
That's crazy how 30 years later.
Yeah, 30 years.
Over 30 years later, they remade Doom. They called it Doom 2016, which I thought was a bit of a weird title, but you know.
Well, I keep calling it Doom and people keep yelling at me.
Yeah, well, you keep calling it the new Doom, which
is the
makes
new
sense
Doom.
because it came out this year, and okay, well, what do you like about Doom 2024, Green?
It's fucking. It's great. Wait, I didn't know you were gonna put. Wait. Doom 2024.
No, he's joking.
Yeah.
The game didn't come out in 2024, but the point of the stream was to talk about games that came out in 2024.
Yeah, but it was cool, you know.
Yes,
After
the bit that nobody is watching.
yeah, after
in hindsight, when people go back and watch this recording,
after I go up
And
on
Green
the
cuts this
news
out.
for unknown reasons, after it happens when people are digging up my past. Yeah, but anyways, future liberal journalist. Yeah, I liked Doom. After hearing Yahtzee complain for years and years about how bad cover-based shooters were, I realized, oh, he's right about everything, as usual.
Yeah, true.
It's like, oh, cool. You have to.
I mean,
it
the problem
encourages
with
you to fight.
cover-based shooters is that, like, Gears of War came out and was really good, and then everything copied it.
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah, Gears of War was
into-
only cool because of how like brutal and aesthetic it was. Like you were throwing
because it was just
grenades
like
at
a
people.
the epitome of dude bro,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could saw
and it
them
was
in
really
half.
good at doing exactly what it did.
Yeah.
Then
and
there
Doom
was
has a
that period
chainsaw
of time, like when you play Last of Us and you walk into an area and there's a bunch of like chest high like ledges and
You're like,
and
I
walls,
sure
and
wonder
you're
if
like,
there's going to be a
yeah,
combat encounter in here.
exactly. It's like, man, I sure hope a bunch of vandals don't start shooting.
Yeah,
at
I
me
mean,
and
I
have to
remember
hide
as
behind
far
one of
back
these walls.
as Mass Effect 2, you could walk
Oh,
into
yeah.
a room and go, I know there's going to be a combat encounter in
Yep.
here.
Yeah, and also Doom, speaking of it, saying fuck no to cover-based shooting, it's also like, hey, do you like your screen going gray and then crouching for a bit and all your health coming back? Fuck no. If you want some health, you better get out there and fucking chainsaw some and punch the lights out of some fucking enemies.
Yeah, that's literally what makes it good. It's just it encourages you.
Yeah, because it
to
encourages
fight.
aggression.
It has
and it rewards you for playing
Yeah.
aggressively, basically.
Yeah, it has the Bloodborne regain your HP when you get hit sort of thing.
I
which is
also
cool.
really like the. I mean, the gameplay is good and stuff. I really like the aesthetic. Like, it's
a good looking game.
Well, it's just such great design choices where you don't even have to. You don't even need to know the story to know the story. Just the visual clues as to what's happening is all you need. It's like, oh, look how evil and creepy these guys are. Look how also evil and creepy these guys who tried to compromise with evil are. You just run around and stomp on things and shoot them and set them on fire. And that eventually solves everything. And I found myself thinking, like, is this what it feels like to be Catholic?
I don't know. We'll have to ask some of the Catholic Twitter who's.
It's impressive how they managed to update bring the 1993 games art style,
like the transition of the art style and the gameplay both actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
For what the end product of of Doom and Doom Eternal.
Are you shitting me?
Great, don't say "Are you shitting me" when people join. Now he's gonna feel bad.
Okay.
We're just talking about the best game of 2024, Doom 2016. Hey, Jaws. Jaws, did you play any games from 2024 in 2024?
Did
I mean, if you played it in 2025, that's okay too. We'd welcome a discussion about it regardless.
Balatro did.
I have not played many games that came out this year, I think, but yeah, I did play a bit of.
Well, you're not alone. Did you guys see that statistic that was like only 15% of Steam players actually played games that came out in 2024?
Very true.
Complete sense.
It does. Everyone was playing Astro's playroom.
Happy birthday, Mr. Michi.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're streaming, by the way. But yeah, this is my birthday stream / 2024 review stream, I guess. And we were just talking about games. I guess we might as well talk about Balatro since Jaws is here. Yeah, Balatro is my...
That did come out this year. I still haven't played it.
Is my game of the year, because I'm not counting Elden Ring's DLC as a game. If we're just talking about just games, yeah, Balatro take the cake. What a stupid fucking idea. What a silly, dumb idea, and yet it works like gangbusters. Just poker, roguelike, done. The aesthetic is really fucking chill and catchy. The music, the little fucking holographic effects on the cards, the way everything fucking bounces around and jiggles, the screen shakes, and the numbers go up. Oh, it's just it was fucking genetically engineered to keep you fucking playing it hour after hour.
I play it without music. I listen to podcasts or something in the background.
Oh yeah, sure. I do that too, but even in and of itself, it's pretty good. Or even just listening to chill music just over something.
It's so weird. I've only beaten it once so far. I've not played that much of it, but it was like one of the earliest runs that was successful, and since then I've not been able to beat it. Like
you're still in the unlock phase where you're still coming up.
Yeah, but I have like a number of decks unlocked, not all jokers or something, but I beat it with the deck that gives you +1 hand.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty... Yeah,
plus one hand or +1 discard. I forgot which one. I think it's the blue one, whichever that is.
Yeah, that's the one. Later decks are very interesting. I especially like the checkered deck, which is all spades and hearts, 50-50. Really good for flushes. There's the abandoned deck, which doesn't have any face cards. It's all just numbers.
Going for flushes seems to be the sort of the easiest, almost successful.
Yeah,
that's how I beat the game the one time I did.
I saw a meme on Reddit where it was like a bell curve, and it was like people starting at Balatro, flushes are great, and then the middle bit was like a really long text about how actually flushes are just like a noob trap, and you really want to be investing in powerful like high card and straight combos and stuff. And then the last one was like then it's like played 900 hours, flushes are great. I'm not sure, the jury is out, I guess. I play flushes a lot for sure. Yeah, it's it's really fucking fun to just bounce all these jokers off of each other. You can come up with some insane game breaking combos.
It's real bad though if you don't get like big multiplier jokers early on.
Yeah, the plasma deck later is a very interesting deck because it balances out your chips and your multiplier. So chip cards become very valuable, especially early on in that. Where if you just have a simple card that gives you plus 100 chips, it's like you have plus 50 multiplier now.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. You can get really fucking high numbers. I've gotten into the billions with the plasma deck multiple times.
What do you need to do to unlock that one?
I don't remember exactly. It must be. I mean, it will be beating something on one of the harder difficulty colors, probably. I've done I've played it for many, like 100 hours probably.
Many moons.
I'm not sure because I played it for a long time, in a form which is less than legal, and then I bought it on Steam. Yeah, Balatro great. Hey, Green, you played Balatro. What do you think of Balatro? You beat it on your first try, right?
Yeah, somehow, which I later learned that's not a typical experience.
And you never beat it again after.
Yeah. It was. Oh, I beat it. I think. It was a good game. Okay. I mean, it's very addictive. After I beat it a time or two, not sure which, eventually I was like, I get it. You know, this could be a nice thing to revisit every now and again as a mindless, background activity. But I was very impressed with Balatro. But once I understood it, I was like, okay, I'm good. I will say it is
kind of a different version of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like most roguelikes, it's a different, like the journey to unlock everything and the journey once you've unlocked everything are kind of different games because you're counting on different things appearing or not. Yeah. But
I was perfectly impressed with the game, but I was fulfilled. You know, maybe it'll be like Hades. It'll be one of those things I revisit every few years just to beat a few times. And speaking of pirating, this was the year I learned how to pirate again.
Yeah.
After being browbeaten over and over again.
AAA industry.
Yeah,
I know.
Fuck you.
I eventually realized, hey, I have this massive D drive with all this space on it. I can just torrent things and put it there. Yeah, this is also the year I figured out if I put because I have a solid state but it's much smaller, and I realized, hey, I can put video games on the traditional hard drive. It's not that big a deal, and then I'm not then I don't have to delete a game every time I play a new one.
Yeah,
you're talking exactly what I realized like 3 years ago. I keep whatever more demanding games or stuff I'm playing at the moment on the SSD, and everything else mostly almost every indie game can just go in the D drive and it's not gonna be a big deal. Oh no, I'm playing Balatro from the D drive. Oh god, my frame rate.
Nowadays the SSDs are so big that you can technically just...
My SSD is not that big. My SSD is 256 and my D drive is 1 terabyte. So most of the stuff is on the D drive.
I see.
That's fair. I've got 2 solid states in my computer. One's a terabyte and I can't remember how big the other one is.
Oh no. Man. Anyways. Yeah, video games.
No, the other one's also a terabyte. So I have 2 1 terabyte drives.
Well, shall we continue talking about games?
Well, talking about whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, John, why don't you tell us one of your favorite games?
If we're going with Game of the Year, I picked Shadow Generations, which was...
Whoa,
what's that?
Sonic. That's
Never heard of
Sonic game.
I thought Sonic games were bad.
They were.
Now
they're getting better.
But they're
all the time.
Yeah, Frontiers came out, 2 years ago now, and that was a massive step in the right direction.
Wait, you said Generations?
Shadow Generations was the Sonic game that came out this year, which is also
cool.
included a remaster of Sonic Generations, which is over a decade old.
It looks like they got that
the new Sonic.
They got that sexy bat in this one.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
You know, she got number 1 spot in Guptil's top 10 hottest Sonic babes.
Yeah.
If you
exactly. So it's what if we took everything cool about Sonic games and put it into a single game, and then just magically not have any of the bullshit that's also usually a problem with Sonic
how do you
games
put the
included.
concept of nothingness in a Sonic game?
No, everything cool about a Sonic game. That's Shadow the Hedgehog.
Like the
that's
button
what he
you
is.
press to turn it off.
Green.
I'm sorry. I played like 5 minutes of one once. I don't know.
That's fair. But a lot of the 3D Sonic games had kind of janky controls once they moved this current boost format is what it's called. With the style of gameplay that it has. Sonic Generations was like the second game to use the format, the boost format, or the third.
You mean
it was pretty good.
You mean like you just get launched around by the launch pad?
No, boost literally means the boost mechanic that is in the game. Because before Sonic Unleashed, that was not a thing. It was you had the spin dash and
Okay.
Remember that time Sonic dated a human?
Yeah,
yes,
that was in Sonic 06.
Some weird shit, man.
She has a head like an octopus.
That was the last time they tried to make a serious story in a Sonic game for a long time.
It's kind of a weird combination.
It took us 15 plus years for Sega to get over that and actually try to give a shit about writing a story in a Sonic game again.
But okay, if Sonic is good now, what changed?
No, it had all of the good stuff about Sonic, and then they finally just didn't have it riddled with game-breaking glitches and bugs and jank.
Yeah, Generations was pretty well liked, and then there was also this game called Sonic Mania where they got they got
which was a fan game.
That
wasn't
it was a
Sonic game, but then they adopted it and made it an official release, basically.
Exactly, it was a good step in endearing Sonic as a video game again to people, where they just made a good 2D. Pixel
it was basically like a proper successor to the Genesis Sonic titles.
Yeah, exactly. So there's been Sonic Boom was terrible, but then they had those good 3D ones John was talking about, and now it's playable. Amazing.
Yeah, it's like what if we actually learned some lessons from all of the other Sonic games we made, implemented them here, and then made a really good game, and that's exactly what you got. And it's like the only complaint is, it's a little shorter than I'd like it to be. I wish there was more to do. Which is usually a good sign that they did something right.
Okay. Well, that's good. I would like to play it. I want to be Shadow and shoot people with my gun.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have his gun in this game. That
was
only in Shadow. You throw chaos spheres instead, like a Dragon Ball energy blast.
Okay.
So you can still shoot people with spears of evil energy, but
that works. That works.
Spheres.
Okay. Green, would you like to tell us about another game that definitely came out in 2024 and you played this year?
What games did I play?
Well, what are games that you played for the first time? You played a game called Buckshot Roulette this year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was good. Oh wait, I actually did play a game. I played Axiom Verge, which is only like 5 years old, or like
that also came out in 2016.
God damn it!
What are you talking about? That came out in 2024. Tell us about this new game, Axiom Verge.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2015.
Yeah,
all I hear is 24.
Yeah, it's like one of those Metroidvania games. You run around and get weapons and there's secrets. Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, I could play it with a controller and it didn't feel weird, like a lot of them do.
Yeah. It was designed to be played with a controller.
My only problem with it is it can be a little tedious with, navigating the map sometimes. And they give you all these weapons. It doesn't have
a quick travel system, which is probably the one knock against it.
The quick travel system is there's a highway in the middle with a big snail lady and you can jump on her head.
Jump on her head?
Yeah, there's this giant snail lady in the middle of Axiom Verge where there's this horizontal, really long level. And you just jump on her head and ride her like a magic carpet for a while, and it gets you 30% closer to where you're going, and then you jump off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and she didn't even have a personality. All the other floating heads had like opinions and stuff, but no, she just kind of is a snail that she's a taxi.
Huh.
My only problem with the game, other than the navigation thing. It got a little up its ass sometimes with the weapons, where they give you all these weapons, but some of them become repetitive or just minor variations on each other.
There
There
are
are
so
some
many weapons in the game.
there are some weapons that are literally only used to fight one boss where they're basically mandatory, then there's never a reason to use them again.
Mm.
And it's cool, but there's just one or two weapons that are obviously the good ones and you end up using them over and over.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I
That's cool.
played that game. Oh, I also played The Forest. Had a lot of potential.
Wait,
Did not
it's
reach
my.
it.
Damn it!
Oh, that's
it
all I
was
have
my
to.
turn.
That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Wait, you were gonna play The
Uh,
Forest too.
The
We're
Forest
taking-
is also a great. Yeah, because it
Yeah.
came out in 2024 and it sounded cool.
Yeah, you do something.
Well, speaking of Metroidvanias, I was gonna say another Metroidvania that came out in 2024, like Axiom Verge, was Animal Well. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was very fun and exciting to see a new developer, basically a one-man team, funded by Donkey of all people, come out with a very
Yeah.
unique and interesting game. Yeah, it was very a very like one of a kind experience to play. I've never played a Metroidvania like this. It feels very kind of like minimal and sparse in a good way. It reminded me a lot of a Rain World kind of, but less scary and hard to play.
Yeah, Rain World is just brutal.
Yeah, it was easy.
This is like a combatless little Metroidvania where you're just this little round ball person and you go around using funny items and puzzles in different ways. It's short. It's sweet. Everyone should go play it and go yay. Then come tell me what they think of it.
Yay.
Yeah, great job, one guy who made it. Good job.
Yeah, Axiom Verge was also one guy, so I guess
Yeah.
that's a running theme.
He's a-
Yeah, Cave
he's
Story
a-
too. I
he's a
guess one
pretty good
guy is
guy.
just like making Metroidvanias.
yeah, everything good is made by one
I mean,
guy.
I think Metroidvania is probably one of the easier types of games to develop
That's
by
true.
yourself.
Well, in the sense, it's one of the ones that's possible to develop by yourself.
Well, yeah, you're not
It's
going to make
hard to make
GTA 6 with
Multiplayer
Yeah.
3D games.
Go make
on
an
your own.
MMO by
Yeah.
yourself. Do it, pussy. It's like,
yeah.
So
yeah,
No.
not to cut you down, man. Did Cave Story come out in 2024? Because that's a good game.
well, funny you should say that. No,
Oh.
we're not talking about Cave Story.
Cave Story is
No,
one of the
Plus
It
few.
was one of the mini re-releases it got.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Cave Story is one of the few points of gamer pride for me, because I played it way back in the day when you had to download it by going to the Pixels website, which was in Japanese, and you just
Yeah.
clicked random links until you downloaded the game by accident. Then you had to do the same thing again to get the subtitles.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Game
It
of the
is.
year. You heard it here, people. 2024 is Cave Story.
Oh, speaking of the forest,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Go
the whole,
on.
yeah, that's the whole problem with the forest. The stuff on the surface is really cool, where it's spooky. You know, you crash and there's disgusting natives, and you have to kill them with sticks and axes and fire.
Whoa. What do you mean by disgusting natives?
They're gross. They had some of them are
Okay,
mutants,
super
and even the
perpetual.
ones. Game of the year.
Game of the year.
I'm the only.
Thanks for making a
Telling
guest
inside
appearance, Super
jokes.
Perpetual.
Yeah. I'm the only one who finds that funny, but by God, it's...
No, I think it's funny.
Okay, thank you, John.
Everyone watching in 2024, who the fuck is Super iPad Wolf?
Yeah, but yeah, the forest is crazy because there's all these fucking Irish people with heads on sticks.
Yeah.
You
That
play,
sounds scary, man.
you
I
play
wouldn't
as
want to
a-
be stuck in the forest with a bunch of Irish
you play as a dapper British gentleman that crashes in rural Ireland, and you have to make like all these like all these forts, sometimes even 2-story buildings, which didn't exist in Ireland until the 1800s. And then you grow
They keep
potatoes
coming after your potatoes.
and scare
Yeah,
them. You have to scare them away with fire, which they don't know what it is. Yeah,
Just
but
equip a cup of tea.
yeah,
Press X to tilt your top hat.
yeah, you can get a Maxim gun. It's great. Yeah, but the forest,
Maxium Verge.
yeah, the forest, the stuff on the surface, it's like being halfway to the greatest survival game of all time. Uh, where it just feels really cool. Like some of it's jank, it's too easy to kill animals, but like it had a lot of potential and a good aesthetic. The AI with the freaking natives is actually amazing. But once you realize the rules to staying alive on the surface, the game's just not hard. The only actual danger is running into patrols while you're out and about on the. It's not an island; it's a peninsula. But while you're
Oh.
out and about on the peninsula, um,
No, I think Ireland's an island, dude.
oh
I think you need
right,
to take
Ireland,
geography.
Ireland. Well, I'm counting Northern Ireland as British territory.
It's the Irish Peninsula.
The Irish Peninsula sticking out from the Protestant stronghold of Northern
course.
Ireland.
Of course. Yeah.
But the
Tell me more about these Dubliners that come after you.
yeah, James Joyce is there. It's just a bummer because what exists of the survival mechanics up top is gold, and if they had developed it twice as much, it would have been one of the best games of all time. But it's just kind of haphazard, and once you understand how to get food and water, like once you build a good base, if you build it in the right place, there's no threat, there's no danger. You can just stay there forever. And they don't really encourage you to do more. The problem with the forest is it's just split in half, where on the surface there's nothing to do except survive and look for caves. And all of the story is in these spelunking sessions, and they are fucking miserable and dark and claustrophobic. They don't play like the surface at all. It's like there's these two games where the forest up top is this really well-designed but incomplete survival horror game. And then it's like this jank first-person combat melee torch lamp simulator spelunking game where all the actual story is that's just miserable in comparison. So I dropped the forest. It could have been great. I know Mandalore likes it. Good for him. 26 plus 6 equals 1. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Very okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And John, what else did you like in 2020?
Toho Spell Carnival came out this 24.
Ooh.
Which was a pretty cool game. It's like a strategy RPG bullet hell hybrid.
Ooh.
Oh fuck. That sounds cool.
Yeah, so you have, characters, you move them around on the grid, but it's all real time at the same time, and you have to actually dodge bullets and shoot your own.
Oh.
And deal with that.
It seems very scary to play.
It has a learning curve because it's like one thing to play a bullet hell on its own, where you're just playing as one character and learning the nuances of that. But this is like, oh, you can have up to 5 units on the board at once.
Oh, okay.
And you got to deal with that. The nice thing is there's some shortcuts to like move the whole group of your characters together. Okay. So I would come up with strategies like, okay, this character, I'm gonna have them use this ability, and it's like a wall of bullets that just forms a shield. Yeah. And they'll, absorb some hits for a while I have some of the attackers do attack stuff. It's you actually have to think about what you're doing, which is nice.
I'm looking and there's some cute chibi designs that remind me of Blue Archive.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison as far as what the in-game models look like.
Yeah, I do enjoy how Toho, from being so popular, having so many fan games, just like you can find almost every genre of game, like a Toho game.
Yeah, and this one was actually made by Idea Factory.
Oh yeah,
who do the Neptunia
more
games.
Big budget.
So it's about as big budget as Toho's ever going to get. It's middle market.
Well, yeah, exactly, but yeah. I'm intrigued by this, and I may well play it.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's not a PC version at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So you'd have to get a Switch emulator running.
I could play it on PS4.
I guess you still have a PS4.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could get a PS4 version, and that would run fine.
But yeah, or maybe I'll just wait for a PC version.
I mean, Idea Factory usually does port their stuff to Steam eventually. It's just for whatever reason they don't usually launch games there. I don't know why, but Small developer, I guess.
Yeah, more like not so many ideas factory. Yeah, got him.
What's the big idea factory?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well,
But yeah, it's a really
what
good game. Obviously, the music's good because it's just Toho Music remixes, and
Oh, yeah.
the moment-to-moment character interactions are pretty fun because it's just Toho characters being their fairly one-dimensional.
Everyone loves
Yeah,
when a Toho girl runs into another Toho girl and they kind of like talk past each other and then call each other stupid and then
Hell, yes.
fight.
yes, and that's basically the whole game. And then when you beat people, it's like, oh, they join your team, and then you get to use them as units. It's great.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
got a pretty
shit.
sizable cast too. Yeah, it's a great game from what I played. I
Well-
haven't beaten it yet because who has time to beat video games, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. Yeah. I will not vouch that I have completely beaten some of the games I will be mentioning, although I tried. Speaking of game, but one I did actually beat is called Angerfoot.
That looked really interesting.
game.
I remember when that
Made
got
up.
announced. You had an announcement trailer.
No, it's real.
Pretty
Google it, Green.
Yeah,
Angerfoot,
yeah,
I
Stream
believe,
Master.
is a Devolver Digital game.
Oh, it's like
And
I'm
a pretty big fan of Devolver Digital. They've made
Yeah.
a lot of games I enjoy, like Hotline Miami and Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah, they have a really good knack for finding these kind of awkward but really cool niche
Yeah,
indie titles
They-
to publish.
they enjoy doing like balls to the wall games that have a few gimmicks and just go really hard with them. And that's
Yeah, and
exactly
then they
what
stick to those things instead of, oh, hey, let's add every feature you could possibly imagine. Instead, it's just, here, let's come up with an idea or two and make those
Yeah.
work really well, and then have a game that's long enough to let you enjoy that and then be done. Instead of, oh, look, we squeezed 80 hours out of this game by adding 8,000 features to it that half of them are stupid.
Yeah, an Angerfoot is the picture of simplicity. You're just a guy with a big foot who kicks people. It has that kind of like it kind of reminds me of other Devolver Digital games, like kind of like Hotline Miami again, where you're just kind of thrown into a level and you want to do it as like quickly and smoothly as possible. You
Yeah,
run in,
Hotline
you
Miami
kick
is a
people through
great
doors. Yeah, it is, and you pick up their guns, shoot all the ammo out. Fucking, there's shoes that you equip that give you different fucking goofy abilities, like a dash or or turn your kick into a punch or something stupid. There's a bunch of goofy shit. The characters all fucking like all the 3D models look incredibly stupid. They look like these like weird bean mouth characters, and they've like ragged all over the place when you hit them. There's exploding barrels. It's just silly fun. And then when you complete a level, you're like, there's always like challenges to get all the stars, and it's like, complete the whole level without throwing a single kick or something, or do it without getting hit, or and it becomes, you're basically just like in a fucking John Wick movie, but you're a fucking goofy cartoon character with a big fucking foot. And it's got funny dialogue and story. It's a quick play. Like you can beat it in like a day or two, depending on how much you can take of balls to the wall foot action. Yeah, recommend. Very fun.
What
Yeah.
action, you say?
Yes,
Yeah,
not the
but-
fetish kind.
Not the fetish kind, unless I guess you.
I mean, I guess
like this
picking
game,
could
but-
be its own fetish, right?
I guess so. I mean, he does a lot of the levels. He is just barefoot with his big green toes in people's faces. So, who knows? Yeah. But moving on. Green, do you have any other games?
From
I would never
24.
play a game.
Okay.
Well, let me think. I played Hades again.
I mean, that's never a
I
bad
did a
choice.
podcast about that.
Yeah, but yeah, you did do a podcast about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
I
played
played a lot of Hades this year
I
too.
played a bit of Fallout New Vegas for a few days. Played a bit of Warhammer for a few days. Yeah, I don't
Total
know.
War-
I hate
Warhammer.
just video games.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Played some RimWorld,
Well, we-
as I always do.
We did play some Buckshot Roulette together on multiple occasions, and that was a fun game.
Yeah, that is a fun game.
It's like $2 on Steam, and it's just a kind of a randomized gambling game where you fucking try and tailor your odds to not shoot yourself in the fucking head. It's like minimalist, and it just does exactly what it sets out to. It's not very complex or deep. It doesn't have the insane replay that something like Balatro does, because it just doesn't have as many variables. But it's enjoyable, and the multiplayer update has been fun. I hope they keep adding stuff to it. I look forward to playing it with more people. There is just something incredibly satisfying about that moment where another guy shoots himself in the fucking face and you win a bunch of cash.
Yeah, so true.
That not a lot of games can reproduce. It's very visceral and cathartic, and a good job to the. I mean, this is like I said, I've said many times. This is just like the year of the like. A lot of the
year of the
games
what?
I enjoyed this year.
You cut out
Of
when
the-
you said.
Oh, sorry. I said the year of the indie game.
Oh yeah,
Most of my favorite games I played this year were indie games, and there were a fuck ton that were good. And I just
yeah. I mean, I think the only one I put on my little 3x3 that you could consider AAA was Sonic, and even then,
Yeah.
that's like really.
Well, I'm not really counting gotchas as like indie games in the same way, because they're kind of like bigger studios. Like Devolver like published Angerfoot, but I think it was made by a small team.
Oh yeah, Devolver. I don't think Devolver has a development studio. They're
And
just a
then
publisher.
like Balatro, Animal Well, Buckshot, these are all made by like one or two guys.
Yeah.
Like just a concept. Yeah, so it's been great to see all these zany ideas that aren't held back by corporations and money and producers being like, nah, we gotta add in microtransactions, or we gotta change this or that or this.
yeah, have all this inane bullshit
Yeah.
just to
Instead
squeeze a
just
couple
be
extra
like-
dollars out of the game instead of just making a fun
Exactly.
game that people want to play and buy.
Yeah, it's been fun to see. Tell me another game, John.
Let's see. Visions of Mana was pretty good. That was another one I put on my list.
That's been a while in the making.
Yeah, and it came out this year, and then it's like just like an adventure action RPG game
Yeah.
set in the Mana series. If anybody's played any of those, I doubt it, but
The often troubled Mana series.
yes, it has a strange history, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's like
but it's
it
just a
feels-
solid game.
It almost, to me, like, new Mana games coming out is like if they suddenly were like, oh, Mother 4. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's almost that crazy.
Yeah. Here comes Mother 4.
But yeah, it's just a fun action game. Basically, you have a party of members. You build a team of up to 3 at a time with them, and they have classes and all that stuff. And then you can.
And did you beat this one? Because it looks pretty
Yes.
long.
I
did.
I
Okay.
platinumed this one.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah.
So yeah, I can easily recommend that one. It's pretty fun.
I would
People
like to
were
play
kind
it.
of upset because I guess like the developer was this not indie studio, but Square Enix outsourced it to another development team, and then whoever owned them kind of like just shut the team down after the game came out.
Okay.
And people were like, "Well, I don't want to buy it now if they're not going to get any money." Which it does suck, but I think if I understand it right, Square actually hired a lot of the people
Yeah, from the original
from
stuff.
the team afterwards, so it wasn't like a totally terrible situation.
I've been due to play a JRPG. This would not be a bad one. I'm going to play Metaphor ReFantasio. I did not.
I have
play
heard
that.
good things about that from people that don't just like suck Atlas's dick. Basically,
Yahtzee put it in his top
So-
5 games of the year, and we all know how much he hates fucking JRPGs. So, yeah, it looks cool. I'm
Yeah,
always down.
I never play Atlas games at launch. I just never. get
No,
around
me
to it.
neither. Yeah,
So
I don't think I've ever
haven't-
played an Atlas game.
I haven't played that one. I probably started Persona 4 Golden when it came out on the Vita. That's about it. I definitely didn't finish it right away. But
I mean, that's not even like a real game launch. So yeah,
I've
that's a fucking remake.
I've only played Catherine, and I suspect that's the only good one.
I mean, Catherine's not even a JRPG.
Catherine
it's a puzzle
is not the
platformer.
best.
It's
not the best Atlas game.
It's a good game though.
It's a good game. It's a good game, but it's not the best Atlas game.
I've talked about Catherine before. I think it's really good art.
It's another good game from 2024 for your list.
Yep.
I mean, it has good art because it has the same art as the Atlas game. It has the same art as Persona and Metaphor Ray Fantasia. It's all the same character designer. I forget his name. Etrian Odyssey? Maybe in 2025? Let's go.
Yeah, I still need to play those.
I like them. They're fun.
I got the quote unquote HD collection for the Switch that has the first 3 games
I've never played
remastered.
them on the DS and 3DS.
Yeah. Had to import that because they didn't want to make a physical copy and release it over here.
I'm trying to. Okay, what are some other? Speaking of more indie games, Children of the Sun came out this year, and that was a fun, kind of jank but fun game about taking revenge on a creepy cult. With using a psychic sniper. You just start a level. There's a bunch of cultists standing around, and you shoot your fucking sniper at their heads. And if your sniper kills someone, your sniper bullet kills someone, it gets another move. So your bullet zigzags in a very pleasing way through the battlefield, or normally like people's apartments, shooting all these fucking cultists. Then there's like fun little mechanics in. Start hitting the exploding cars to get a new move. You gain the turn midair. You get the ability to speed up your bullet to go through armored enemies. And then you kind of it's just kind of this trial and error thing of planning the most optimal route for your bullet through a level for one shot to kill 14 guys. Very fun idea.
Cool, actually.
It's a bit clunky in areas. Like it's definitely on the lower end of like budget and look of these ones. It reminded me of like Super Hot. If anyone ever played that, that was very fun.
I think
like
I've
10
seen
years
that.
ago.
I don't know that I've played it. Wait, was that a VR game, or am I thinking of something else?
They did a VR version. Early on, it was like in its earliest iteration, like 2010. It was like browser like 3D game. Then they made a proper game out of it, and then they did a VR. Yeah, that's the one where you time only moves when you do. So you shoot bullets, then you like walk around for them to move, and then freeze to try and like dodge enemy bullets. Yeah, that's really fun too, but it didn't come out this year. But yeah, Children of the Sun gets a thumbs up. I haven't finished it because the later levels became pretty fucking hard. I stopped around where I was in one where I'm in a car and everyone else is in a car. But yeah, still fun idea for a game. Very satisfying. Yeah.
Also, the name of a Judas Priest song, if anybody cares.
I do.
That
I
makes
do
it 10
care.
times better.
That's probably intentional. Gosh dang.
Possibly.
Who else has games?
Another game that came out in 24 that I played a lot of was Helldivers 2. I don't think anybody else here did.
Fuck that
fuck.
game.
Why?
What? Green? Why?
Only mean people play that game.
You and Ichi both would like playing that.
I would have.
That
played
doesn't
it if I wasn't
contradict
poor.
what I just said.
Yeah.
Full price, like $60 games that you.
It's actually
not
like
It's like
the
45
past base
or
price was just 40, which may still be too expensive for
okay,
you.
but
The starting price is actually much less expensive than that.
it's not the kind of game you can torrent.
When you say
Unfortunately, no, because it's online only, which
exactly,
means
so
their
that
servers will
precluded
catch
me
you.
for most of my life.
But John, when you
maybe someday.
when you say 40, is that like dollars?
Yes,
Oh,
instead of 70, like
okay.
most new AAA quote unquote. It's not a AAA; it's like a middle market, but still, most big budget, first party type titles come out at the $70 price tag now. But it was like 40.
Maybe 2027. We'll try this.
I mean, there'll be Helldivers 3 by then, probably.
I mean, Helldivers 1 came out like 10 years ago. I think you've got some time.
This one was very successful, though. Like, even
Yeah,
though it
well,
had
and
some
because
controversy.
it was a really good game on top of all. I mean, it did have some issues, but that was mostly just PR and not the game. Because it came out and it was way more successful than they were anticipating.
Yeah.
just because of positive word of mouth. So the servers were just not working for a couple days.
Oh no.
When the game came out, it was like, I can't play it. I didn't even pick it up for a couple weeks after it launched, but people were still talking about it. So,
Okay.
but it's just it's a fun co-op shooter, and it's a perpetually changing. Yeah, it's a perpetually changing environment because they have like an in-game game master that decides what the current objective is for everybody. So it'll be like,
really?
kill
Oh,
1 billion of this thing
I didn't
collectively.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, or it'll be like, oh hey, these robots are attacking our planets over here. Go defend them, and it's basically just doing randomized missions on those planets, but you contribute to some big global number, and then if enough people contribute, you successfully defend the planet or lose it if you don't do it right, and then they take it over and it changes the landscape of the map.
That's interesting.
It doesn't impact the moment-to-moment gameplay that significantly, but it does have this kind of overarching dynamic to what's going on in the world of the game, and it's just got this very like hyper patriotic
yeah, it reminded me of like Starship
satire.
Troopers and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot like that, basically, where it has this like
Yeah.
it's like one nation rule of the whole planet, and it's called Super Earth instead of regular Earth.
But does it have lengthy diatribes about the state of cities and personal
Nope.
responsibilities and why?
I mean, that
nuking
comes from
Japan?
the players in voice chat.
Yeah. Nope, it's pretty much you do the tutorial mission and then you play the game, and that's all you do. And there's like subtext and there is dialogue from NPCs and on your spaceship and stuff, but
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like Doom.
Yeah.
yes, except it doesn't play anything like Doom other than the fact that you shoot guns and stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
It's a fun game though. I can easily recommend it.
Very cool. I played a game this year called Void Sols, not Souls, Void Sols, SOLS, which is, I guess I'd call it's like Space Invaders meets Dark Souls. I don't know if there's a game for this, a name for these games that are like minimalists, retro-ish Souls-likes. I played one last year called The Last Hero of Nostalgaia, where it was like a 3D Souls game, but you were like an Atari stick figure that then like slowly gains pieces that are like from different eras of gaming, kind of. It was very strange.
This sounds like a
and
joke right now. Is this?
I know, it's real.
I was gonna say, I
seriously,
think my cousin played that game. I'm looking at it on Steam right now.
yeah, this is real. You start as like a pixely line, and then you go equipping stuff, and the NPCs are like a mishmash of like you meet like flat 2D people and 3D PS1 looking guys and stuff. It's like that's the thing, because it's like Last Hero of Nostalgaia. It's like nostalgic thing for. It's like if like video game history had melted into a dark world and you're playing it and it's a 3D Souls like. But anyway, I'm not talking about that game because it didn't come out this year. But yeah, I got a lot of vibes of that game when playing Void Souls, which was kind of like a stripped down, like top down shooter kind of take on a Souls game where you're just a little sprite triangle dude, and you can equip weapons and you fucking have stats so you level up. And you
aesthetic reminds me of Geometry Wars a little bit.
Yeah, I totally thought that while I was playing. Yeah, I used to play a fuck ton of Geometry Wars 3 when I was a teenager. It's just like stripping back Souls games to almost like its menu elements, but it somehow still is fun. Like the combat is like snappy and engaging. The level design is like intricate in a good way, where it's like it's got that good Souls like looping levels and shortcuts thing and little NPCs that you discover. I still haven't finished it, but I had a lot of fun with it for a couple days. Yeah, deceptively addicting for what looks like a joke. It's fun, little simple game, good to put podcasts to and just fucking zoom around as a little triangle man with a sword or a mace or a fucking bow and arrow. Yeah. More indies. It
Oh yeah,
is.
that only came out in November too, so that's pretty recent.
It was.
Yeah, not to
It was
be
recent.
not to be persnickety, but you know, saying the year of indie games, I kind of feel like we're on the second or
decade of
almost
your
third
gifts.
decade of indie games.
Yeah, well, if you to go on a short tangent about it, if you think about all like the huge successful games that people are still talking about, that were big games, Elden Ring is like the last one that came
Yeah.
out, and that was 22, I think, right?
It was 2020.
Yeah, because like you have some fairly big titles like Final Fantasy 16, but people aren't talking about that. And when it finally came out on PC, almost nobody bought it there. So that didn't,
Yeah.
that wasn't a big mega hit.
I mean,
And
I
Did
like
Baldur's Gate 3 came out after Elden Ring or before?
Wait, which one?
Baldur's Gate 3.
That
one
came
was-
out.
Oh,
after
yeah,
Elden
that
Ring.
was last year
Yeah, that was last year.
or 23. But
Yeah, it was 30. Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah, just because we're technically
mean-
in 25.
I mean, Green, I get like my favorite games of each year have almost, been indie games since I was like 15. Like,
Yeah.
I just think recently, like there was that Tunic game.
But
There's been
yeah.
a lot, but I think I
But
called it the
Josh,
year of
you're
the
right,
indie game
though,
because of the sheer.
Baldur's
I'm
Gate.
talking about the sheer volume of fucking like indie games that were like getting
Good. And getting recognized.
not just good, but yeah, getting popular
like
recognition.
Palatro was
Every-
on almost everybody's radar
exactly.
this year.
Every couple
Um,
weeks on Twitter or whatever I was on YouTube and stuff, people were like excited about these games. Like the critics, the video game reviewers and critics that I follow are talking about these indie games and not talking about any of these fucking stupid ass AAA games, or if they are, they're
Yeah,
just
and if you
encouraging
think
them.
about what all actually did come out last year, like you had Ubisoft release that new Star Wars game. Nobody played that.
Yeah. It's being felt now like there's a difference between like mainstream games are still popular and making a lot of money, but the real gamers, their favorite game of the year is like these indie games
and
that came
so
out,
many-
and being like everyone only cared almost about these so many indie games.
so many of the big
and
games
they're
were also
dominating the
massive
the
flops too.
yeah. There was
like,
too many
the
flops. Concord.
The Suicide Squad game, Concord.
There was a lot of fucking crap. The Dragon Age one didn't do well.
Yeah, that was
Dragon's Dogma
atrocious,
2 didn't do
apparently.
well.
every time this comes up, I always think of the Jonathan Blow quote. The guy who made Braid.
Yeah.
Where back in like 2008, a reporter said, people keep saying we're coming up on this massive time of indie game dominance. We're entering this new
Okay.
new era. Basically saying we're at the beginnings of this great movement. And Blow said, it feels like we're really more in the middle of the movement. These things get big, but trends peter out. We're probably going to dip down a bit. And then it was like, after that, it was like a solid 15 years of indie games just being more and more and more of the market forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Josh did bring up a good point about Baldur's Gate 3, but I think that and Elden Ring are like the only two games of the last 3 years that really
Probably.
hit massive success on people's radars.
Yeah, I feel like the
And-
last
And
like when
Baldur's
the
Gate was a
Uncharted
bit of a
4
surprise.
came out, that was
That
like the last.
was also like
big,
2016,
It
right?
was like 2016, yeah. Like that, yeah.
one?
We're talking about. I'm thinking like
yeah,
yeah, the
2016.
year of like Uncharted 4 and the Doom, which of course came out in 2024, and like that. What I mean is like pre 2020 was like still an era of like pretty big AAA games that still feel like modern in my memory. But after 2020s have been pretty
pretty limited as far as what
dominated
the big budget major or major
indies
developers
stuff
have released.
been
Yeah.
getting a lot more, and now it's, and in this environment it's so much easier for people to get together and make, like use a Discord community or
Yeah.
these crowdfunding websites to get like a pretty decently budgeted indie game made than it was previously.
Yeah, it's definitely way easier to get a group of people together to make a fair, like a moderate
Yeah, I'm
project, right? You're not.
Yeah,
you're
like,
obviously
indie games
you're not going to
aren't-
make a massive
indie-
MMO or.
No, but
But-
still, like indie games aren't restricted anymore to like pixelated platformers. Like
Yeah,
they were
we're past
for
the
that
era
initial era.
of
Yeah,
like
of
you can make an
Braid,
NES
Fez,
game. Yeah.
Cave Story. Yeah, now it's like you can get 3D multiplayer indie games, or you can get like. You can get Arctic Eggs, a game I played this year, which is a 3D weird indie game about frying eggs. I don't think I'd put it in my top 10 of the year, but it was interesting. And it's very unique and weird, and that's what we like to see.
It sure is.
Yeah. Well, let's should me and John talk about gotchas now?
Wait,
Yeah.
well,
this,
actually,
this really is the year of the gotcha.
I forbid
you
it.
go first.
And
First
next
of
year is
all-
going to be the year of the gotcha, but
Okay.
I'll sum up every gotcha. The girls were cute. There, done. Anyways, something that people do need to know
Just
about.
all of anime.
Yeah, exactly. I would never talk at length about anime either, ever. But people do need. I did play that mouth-washing game that was getting.
Oh
memed.
fuck yeah! That's
yeah.
right.
It was.
Did that come out this year?
Maybe. I
I'm
think so.
joking.
Wait, did
I
it?
feel like that was in 2020. I feel like that was in 2016, dude. I think
He's-
you've got your
Green, he's messing
years
with
wrong.
you.
Wait.
Yeah,
Oh, is this the only game I played that actually did come out this year?
this year was Doom and Axiom Verge. Mouthwashing came out a few years ago.
Oh, right. Mouthwashing, I have mixed feelings on it. The ways it is impressive is very impressive. Its faults were pretty glaring. Its current rating is overwhelmingly positive, where everybody loves it, and I think that's overstating it. I think there are elements of the game that are very good. I think the team deserves a lot of credit. First of all, like, it's a very praiseworthy game. It's a heroic effort, but the problems do hold it back a bit. I do really love the aesthetic. You know, the goofy PS1 looking models they fit the story surprisingly well. And the story is very good. It's a very simple story about, a shipwrecked crew slowly crumbling under the weight of their, I don't know, sins, and being paranoid about each other and all that. Just a few problems with the game. The main one is the game jumps around in time, and it goes back and forth between the literal events that are happening in real time and following the basic story, and then jumping into the past and in the future, and also a bunch of non-literal dream sequences. And I think those non-literal dream sequences are way, way, way too present for a game that you can beat in 2.5 hours.
That's fair.
I think if they would have changed the pacing a bit and had the linear story be like twice as much as what it was, and then they cut back on that other stuff a bit and just even things out, then it would have been great. It's a good game. It's a very good game still with what it is. I just think the pacing got a bit up its ass, and it got a little exhausted. It's like, oh great, we're in another Lovecraftian meat realm, watching the protagonist's sins take human form, and then screechy music plays, and then I have to walk across the eyeballs and do this again. And it's like, it lost its impact because those sequences just got so extreme. Also a legitimately disgusting game, like makes you queasy at various points. And my other complaint, they warn you at the beginning, like, hey, if you have epilepsy, maybe pass on this one. And the lights and sounds could be very grating at times. At times it was hard for me to play just because it was so over the top. There were points in the game where I was holding the W button and closing my eyes because I knew I had to walk forward, but it was physically hurting me to look at the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I was taking psychic damage. I would strongly recommend people try this game. It's definitely a worthy game to play, even if I had some issues with it. It's just it had the potential to be like one of the best games of this type ever.
It does
and I
seem
don't think
intriguing.
I don't think it's quite there. I think you should play it though.
Yeah. I may well do.
Spooky.
Wow.
Spooky.
Damn.
Do you know what else is spooky?
Mirrors.
Blue Archive. It's so scary the way you play it, and then the clock and you go. Yeah, I've never been as into gacha games as I was this year.
Yeah, same.
Early few months were dominated by Blue Archive. I had played it like on and off in 2021 and in 2022 and 23, but like late 23, 24, I got really invested in the actual narrative and the characters, and just fucking played it like every night and every morning as like a ritual. Because I was trying to pull some characters I really liked and ended up getting really addicted to it. It's the perfect toilet game. But Blue Archive didn't come out this year. It doesn't count, and best stuff didn't really come out this year. But some good games that came out this year were Girls Frontline 2, Exilium, and Zenless Zone Zero. Yeah, man, these are very good.
Yeah, I didn't really get Zenless like when it first came out. I kind of tried it and was like, I don't know. And then this new patch came out. Apparently, they updated a bunch of the combat mechanics too to make.
Yeah, I wondered about that because when I played it, it felt very like, what's the word? Spongy to me. Like I played that the first few missions of when it launched, and the combat, I was like, this combat is fine and fun and flashy, but all the enemies take way too many.
Yep.
And I just feel like I'm spamming fucking X. I'm hammering the X button constantly, and the guys are like not dying. And they're not that interesting, the moves I'm using. I have like two.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is the characters you have to use for the first couple of missions just are okay. Yeah. They're not like super interesting because they're all 4-star or as A rank units, right?
They are, yeah. That was definitely an issue, and it was interesting giving it breathing time, not thinking I would probably go back to it. I usually fall off of MiHoYo games, but
yeah, Star Rail's the only one I've been able to actually stick with long term for some reason. But
yeah, well, that's funny because I played a Honkai Third Impact once, not Star Rail, Third Impact, and it blatantly was like almost criminally like ripping off Bayonetta movesets. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, the MiHoYo games, the joke is always that they like steal shit. Like when Genshin Impact came out, they're like, oh, this is fucking Breath of the Wild.
That's what they do.
Exactly. And I was like, well, shit. But then when I was playing Zenless Zone Zero, I was like, okay, this is interesting. They're like stealing from shit, but they're mixing it up and improving it somehow. Like I've been playing this, and I've been like,
they're taking inspiration from other existing ideas or characters or properties, and then implementing it in a way that matches their
like. What a fun idea to take gimmicks from various like 3D games that I enjoy. Like there's some Bayonetta and DMC in here, obviously, but there was also like I was getting like Monster Hunter like vibes from. There's like a dude that has literal like sword shield, like sword that like what is it called? An axe. The exact switch axe. Yeah, like the charge blade that goes into the shield.
Those are two separate things actually, but those are
and then just the sword and shield girl was also like that. I was feeling like their enemies, they're like out of fucking Metal Gear Rising. A bunch of stuff like elements, but it was changing them enough where they were fun and snappy, and also throwing them all in a way that you can quickly snap between like characters.
Yeah, the game systems work really well. And now that I've played it again 6 months later,
it is super satisfying to string combos, and you can do it consistently. Like
and just like the tag parry system, the dot, like when you get a perfect dodge, all of that feels so good.
and it looks really cool. Like you're playing it, you do a perfect dodge into a combo, into a stagger, into a switch between characters to all do their fucking specials, and there's like fucking sparkles and supernovas like, happening on your fucking screen, and then you freeze frame on a cool pose as you fucking kill this enemy.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
the windscreen wipeout.
Yeah, the
thing,
wipeout thing. Yeah,
man,
it's cool.
I've
The
never seen a more
missions
stylish.
don't take
like,
too long.
cut to finish.
Yeah, satisfying movement. And when I thought like, okay, I get it, and I was like, okay, this game is fine, but it's kind of like I still think it's kind of mid. But then I kind of got into the story a bit because I had been like kind of skipping around it, but some part of it that I couldn't skip kind of hooked me slightly, and I got kind of invested in one of these final arcs, like the last 2 chapters of the story. And also they introduced like fucking Dark Souls bosses, like a fucking dancing enemy showed up with the fucking and called in like a second one mid fight. They have like
boss fight was
basic
really
bosses. A dude showed up on a fucking motorcycle, and I was like, oh shit, it's the guy from Kingdom Hearts. And I was like, dang. And there's like some fucking really fucking hype boss fights, like with cool music, and you're fucking in the rain and doing all these cool combos. And I'm like, this is a fucking gacha game. God damn. Yeah. What a turnaround for like the last month of the year for this game.
Yeah, because Girls Front
I thought
Line
I had
2 was like
dropped.
the end of November, and then
Yeah, same. Yeah.
and then they do this. They did the Miyabi banner and update for Zenless, and it's like everybody wants this character because she's ridiculously cool
and really fun. Yeah, and Girls Front Line 2 is fucking really fun to play in a completely different way. It's like, yeah, like you said, it was like that Fire Emblem itch.
Yeah, it's like it's scratching that Fire Emblem itch that Fire Emblem hasn't done for me for like a decade.
Yeah,
so
it's a really good looking game. Really, also satisfying, snappy combat. The shooting, I like. You can play it with just a mouse.
Yeah, it's like one of the few times I actually play a game with a mouse and keyboard, because you don't have the option to play the controller even if you wanted to, but I don't.
And it fixed my only problem with XCOM, which is I don't care about all these burly buff men, but I do care about all these enemies.
Also, there's no percent chance to hit. It's just you are going to hit. Enemies do too.
Oh yeah, it just tells you like you will kill this
always
guy.
had that joke where it was like 99% chance to hit and miss 5 times in a row.
No, it just says yeah, this is enough to murder them, and they fucking die.
Yes, there's some power creep elements in that you have levels and gear and stuff, but you do actually have to think about what you're doing.
I want to see it, but yeah, so far a really strong opening, and I want to see it get more content updates and kind of get like more intricate, interesting, cool stories going. Not the one we got is bad, but
yeah, no, it's definitely
not.
I found some of the side stories they gave us limited events of are a little more entertaining than the main story.
I would like
has
some
been.
big, crazy event sort of thing for them, which
But
I'm sure
they can build up to something more interesting.
Yeah,
it's perfectly serviceable for what it's doing. I haven't wanted to skip any of the main story yet. I'll put
these
it that
games are fun, have a lot of content, and they're fucking free.
Free in quotes, but yeah.
Well, I haven't spent any money on
it. I bought the battle pass for Zenless.
Okay, maybe I did that too, but I didn't have to.
Right? Yeah.
I spent many years playing gacha games and never spending money. You know, maybe one time going,
Yeah, well,
I mean, whatever. Even if it's $10 for the whole game, go ahead.
Like a monthly battle pass or one of those daily login bonus things. I'll pay for
that
those.
doesn't count, right?
I'll pay for those, but if I'm never going to directly buy the like full currency.
Yeah, no, I never go.
If you ever look at how much you get, it's like $30 for 15 pulls, and you're like, good lord, why?
Yeah,
you're like, I could just play the game for 2 hours to get that many pulls. Yeah. That's stupid. Why would I do that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I did do a little splurging on unlocking like those things, but yeah, nothing crazy. It's just the money I could have used on a pack of cigarettes. I used on Anime Girls. Very cool.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it too. Like, I could have gone to McDonald's instead. I guess I'll just eat healthier today with the stuff I have around the house.
Green, since obviously you don't care about this drivel, I know something you played in 2020. Yeah, right. You played Silent Hill,
guys, but I'll be back later if you're still around.
Green, you played Silent Hill 2 in 2024.
No way.
Yeah, you did.
I would never.
Okay, I guess I was mistaken.
No, I did.
Never mind.
I did play Silent Hill 2. It was a good game.
Good game.
I'd been meaning to play it for a very long time, and I finally did. It was good. The hardest part about the game though was actually trying to find the shitty version, because I didn't want to play the new good
Oh, I
version or the fixed version that everyone says is
Yeah.
bad. So I had to find the right version and the download, and I had to go to the fan patch website. But I eventually beat it. It's one of the scariest games I ever played.
Well, that tracks with its reputation, I guess.
Yeah, that fucking Pyramid Head, he's a spooky guy.
It's a silly little guy.
Yeah,
He
you're
is
walking
so
down
old,
the
man.
hallway and you don't see Pyramid Head, but you know he's going to be there. And you
Yeah.
keep going and he's not there, but then the longer you go, the scarier it gets that he's not there, because surely it's going to happen any minute.
I hear you, man. I'm already quivering in my boots over here.
Yeah, the
I-
funny thing is, it was funny. It would be funny to go back to Silent Hill 2 and just knowing how often you're not actually in danger, because it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It does a good job of convincing you he's about to show up.
That happens with Resident Evil games too. Like first time through, you're really fucking scared, and then when you kind of know where you can go through and where there are bullets and stuff, you're just like, oh, here I just kind of head, then I go around here. Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, good subtext about, I don't know, being a guilt-ridden weirdo who, did something, we don't know what. Very spooky.
You reviewed anime on the internet.
Hey, how fucking dare you?
I have a Can I tell my Pyramid Head story?
Well, first let me say,
okay.
Silent Hill 2, the hardest part was there's a part where you get in a rowboat. And I thought it was one of those things where, they're doing this artistic thing where I have to row in one direction for a very, very long time. Okay, let's just turn that down. Where you have to go in the same direction for a very, very long time. And
Yeah.
turns out you're actually supposed to turn until you see the lighthouse and then press forward. So I sat there with my hand on the button for like 15 minutes, being like, "Damn, this is a powerful artistic statement about the tedious nature of video games."
You thought it was like the Metal Gear Solid 3 ladder. Like, what a thrill!
Yeah, I thought it was a troll.
That's funny. Oh yeah, when I was a teenager, I used to be an anime nerd, not like now. And one time I went to this anime convention where I live. I was on the subway there, and there was a lot of people in cosplay and stuff. But I wasn't really paying attention to them much. And then this black lady came like bursting like from the door of one subway car to the other, like talking about how, oh my god, there's fucking demons and satanic shit going around. What the fuck? This is crazy. How could you guys do this? And such nonsense, and she kind of like looked.
Is this in Portugal?
This is in Portugal, yeah. And she was kind of like just like haphazardly, like her eyes bulging out of her head, looking, darting around all the corners of the fucking subway car. But I guess she looked at me and my friend. I was not wearing anything. Like maybe I had like a Fooly Cooly t-shirt on, and my friend had a fucking hat of like a bug from League of Legends on his head. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this time I went with my sister. So it's just like she wasn't like mad at us. She was like being like, oh, thank God, some normal faces. She'd be like, oh my God, there's satanic creatures around here, and there's spooky people, and everyone is sick. And then I was like, okay. And then the subway stopped at our stop, and I got out. Yeah, we had like we like got out, changed lines like to another subway, and then she was there still. Like she came in and So I was like, what the fuck? And then she kept raving and ranting. And then we got off at our stop, and I was like, I wonder what she was talking about. And then I looked next, like the door next to us, Pyramid Head came out. And it was like covered in blood. Like the lady like freaked out and ran off. And I was like, and we were like, yay, real life Pyramid Head saved us from the annoying fucking sassy, preachy lady on our way to the anime convention. And then I spent all my money on a Cardcaptor Sakura Figma figurine, which I have to this day. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good anime convention. Big crowd of people did the Hare Hare Kai. There was a karaoke booth. Yeah. A cover band showed up and they played the Death Note opening. Me and my buddy
one?
The meme, the Hirugaru, that one. The world.
In this world.
Yeah, they weren't gonna do the other one. They didn't have a growler. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm done talking about games for the year. I mean, I talked about all the ones that are actual games that came out this year. If I want to be technical, then obviously the best game of the year is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, the DLC. But everyone who's going to play that game already has.
It's kind of funny that like a lot of people are saying that, which is interesting that the DLC manages to be like sort of game of the year.
I chatted with John about it, and we were kind of saying that it kind of should still count because the amount of content and map that it is the equivalent of like a game for most other games. It adds like an extra like 25% to 30 to the entire Elden Ring map. Like it's a lot of game. It took me like a week to beat. Yeah, it was great. I didn't find it super hard like a lot of people seem to online. Like,
I
maybe
think
it's because I was using my OP build from the original game, but
with
yeah.
people not knowing that you need the fragments to level up.
The fragments, and a lot of people just don't use summons. I used my my little mimic tier for the last fight, and it was good. Yeah, there were some pretty tough bosses, but I got past them. Great game. Fantastic as the original.
I still need to play it, but I need a new controller too, so I've been holding off on it.
Then I was trying to think, like, I think the only anime from 2024 I watched was Dungeon Meshi, Dan Da Dan, and Look Back, and they were all like 9 out of 10. Like they're all pretty good, but I didn't watch that many.
If you choose based on what you are pretty sure what you will know, what you know is good, then everything is a
I only watched stuff in 2024 that I had pretty strong prior knowledge of, like Dungeon Meshi. I had always heard was really good, and it made me read the manga. Dan to Dan, I have read the manga already for years, and Look Back, I love Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch, so I was like, well, it's gonna be good. And it was. And then and then music. No one else listened to any music from this year, so I'll just say Your Song of the Lost World was the best one. And then there was fun releases from Clarence Clarity and User 2. Who always put out good stuff. And then I listened to a bunch of stuff from 2023 this year. Doesn't count. Shout out to Rat Jizu, Prepared to Die. Good album.
What genre? What style?
Schizophrenic. Nerd metal?
Okay.
Question mark? I don't know. It's 15-minute long album.
15?
Is there a Grammy? Is 15. There a Grammy Awards category for that?
I think so. Yeah, it's 15 minutes. Rate Your Music says it's verify you're human. Oh, sorry, that's it's alternative metal, digital hardcore, emo, noise pop, power pop, Hex D, whatever the hell that is. Hex D is heavily bit crushed vocals, sped up and high pitched. Okay.
Is there even enough time in 15 minutes to
shit.
cover all those genres?
I think so. I mean, it's got 8 songs on
Cutting
it,
it
so
short.
they're all like between like 1 and 2 minutes. Yeah, I really like the last track, New Game Plus, is very good. Yeah, that's my little indie shoutouts of the year. And The Cure beat everyone else out. There was like a funny meme where it was the Oasis reunion was announced, and then like a week later, the Cure new album was announced, and people showed it as like a train derailing another train really fucking hard. So yeah, there was fun stuff. But yeah, that album came out in 2023 technically. The Rat Jesu one I was talking about. They have another album called Emo Girl Ex Machina, which I have not heard. But I'm sure is cool. It has Lane on the cover of the single, so it has to be good.
It's a hallmark.
It is.
And Green is going off. He's speed running.
Yeah, sure.
Then I don't think I watched a single live action movie from 2024.
An entire year.
Or
No,
2023.
why would you?
Or 2022. Or 2023.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm trying to think. Like, did I see a live action movie from 2024?
I mean, it does not have to be a movie from that year.
Oh, sorry.
Isn't
Oh.
oh. Yeah, sure.
If that's the case, then my movie of the year is The Night of the Hunter from 1955.
Yes. There you go.
Up for consideration for Best Picture in this year's Academy Awards is Night of the Hunter from 1955.
Yeah, Night of the Hunter. I mean, it didn't get any awards the year it
bullshit.
came out, so fair enough.
We got
Robert
so sick of
Mitchum's star role.
reviewing new bullshit. We just fucking went back to the past and just started fucking watching movies we might like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I did like my top films of the year, it's just that I watched this year, I don't think most of them would even be century. Like almost all of them were from before 2000.
Yeah. We watched Lethal Weapon, didn't we?
We did. We watched Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's probably that one.
I mean, that was a good movie. We watched Die Hard. the film of the year.
What's a Die Hard that everyone says is actually a Christmas movie? Is it the original Die Hard or is it Die
That's
Hard
the first
2?
one. No, the
Okay.
first one is.
Is it a Christmas movie?
I mean, it takes place during Christmas, so yeah. He's coming to spend Christmas with his kind of rocky relationship wife and his 2 kids, and he brings a big teddy bear with him that stays in the car in the parking lot of the movie for the entire film, with Argyle taking care of it. I'm surprised so many people in the server haven't seen it. I
No,
thought,
it's a classic.
I
but
thought
still
that-
haven't seen it.
yeah, I mean, Green liked it, right, Green? Remember when Hans Gruber was like, "There will not be a 4," after he said count to 3?
It was
Yeah.
a good movie. You know, not my
Yeah.
thing really, but it was a good movie. You know, very, very entertaining.
Yeah, I don't
very
think-
well made.
I would be suspicious of anyone that it was like their favorite movie, but oh, wait a second. I did watch movies that came out this year. This is I'm flabbergasted.
Was it
I-
a documentary or?
Yeah, it was. I watched 2 Oh, that one came out in 2023, I guess. Oh, they both did. Okay. Well, I saw them in
Never mind.
cinemas. I saw them in theaters in Portugal in 2024. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Anselm, documentary about the painter artist Anselm Kiefer, and this one called Ricardo and Painting about this artist I'd never heard of, who's not very well known, from Buenos Aires, I think, called Ricardo Caval. Yeah, both
If he's
very
not
good.
very well
especially-
known, why were they making a documentary about him?
Because
people
he
can
just was
learn.
like an interesting figure, and people he knew made the film like about him, and he's very involved in it. Like, these are both like kind of following the artist around, very involved documentaries. But I like the more personal one of Ricardo and Painting a bit more than the Anselm one, which is more kind of hyping him up as a very famous big artist. Like you would Picasso. It was also good though, and it was that one was in 3D, like had 3D sculptures and elements of the like artwork they were showing, which interesting advantage of. And I watched a movie that did come out this year. It called Inside Out 2.
You did? Oh my god! You actually. Not only did you watch a movie from made 2024, released 2024, you watched fucking Disney slop that came out in 2024.
I did, and you know what? It was pretty good.
No.
I liked the first Inside Out. I'll cop to
the
that.
first one was good.
I think
mean,
you
I've
would
not
like
seen
the
it.
second one if you like the first one. I mean, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like the new characters. They're fun. They're cool. It's a satisfying little story arc. I like it more than the first one because I relate more to angsty teen drama than I do to being a child, like how young she is in the first one. I remember my teen awkwardness far more vividly than my child years of playing with Legos. So I like all of their new anxiety and disgust and shit. Well, disgust already there, but anxiety, ennui, and all the others that show.
Damn.
It's a fine animated 3D film. A lot more than you can hope for almost everything Disney has made in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
Good job.
It is.
It's Pixar, so you know.
Even though I've never seen the original Inside Out, it has always been on my radar as one I probably would like. So another one is what's the one with the little robots in
WALL-E?
space?
Wally?
WALL-E?
WALL-E, yeah. I've heard WALL-E's quite
Oh,
good, but
that's been a long time since that came out. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't
Yeah,
seen
I'm
that.
pretty behind.
WALL-E
on
is good.
things.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I watched. I think the
Yeah.
last Pixar movie I saw that came out, when it actually came out, I think it was Monsters University.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's such a piece of shit.
Well, I didn't know it when I bought the ticket for it.
No, I know,
Yeah,
I know.
I
I'm not
agree.
saying
It's
you
not
went in it and were like, yes, I love this, but I loved the original Monsters Inc. Like
Oh,
as
the
a
original
kid.
Monsters Inc. is great.
Yeah, and I still think it's funny. And watching that, I was like, oh,
So funny.
this is so fucking unfunny and lame. I
Yeah,
hate
it's like-
monsters. Fucking
You know what? Actually, Monsters University reminds me of. It's like a bad OVA.
Yeah,
Or like a
it
good
was.
show.
I couldn't believe it was real. Like when I was watching.
I don't think I hated it quite to that extent, but I will certainly admit it was
WALL-E
unmemorable.
came out in 2008, so if you wait 3 more years, you can watch the 20th anniversary edition. I guess.
Is WALL-E good? I've heard a lot.
Yeah,
of good things.
yeah, WALL-E's good.
Wally's
Wally's good.
That whole era of Pixar is like even the ones you don't personally like
Wally-
are very competently made. They're just
WALL-E belongs on anyone's top 10 Pixar's, probably top 5.
Okay.
I didn't love Wally. I wouldn't argue with anyone who did love it though. You know,
Yeah, I don't think it's as strong as I don't know, what are my favorites? Incredibles. Like that's
it's hard
pretty
to
fucking
be
up there.
Incredibles. Incredibles was like
Yeah.
a very adult movie that kids still like, and
Yeah, Incredibles is still great. I've watched it in recent years and it holds up.
It's pretty crazy that actually, you think that would be just taking a step back, looking at it objectively. The Incredibles would be the super shitty one because it's just Disney Pixar
Yeah,
just doing a fucking
seems
superhero
generic.
movie,
Yeah.
and you think it'd be the most generic. It's like, no, it's actually the best. Pretty much the best.
Yeah, Green is right
It's like
though.
they
That
actually
era,
know.
they were on a run. Like
Yeah.
Incredibles, WALL-E, Ratatouille, Up. I have problems with the second half of that movie, but still, that's a good movie.
Yeah, Up is still solid. It's
Yeah,
not,
Up is still solid.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't think Incredibles 2 was very good.
it wasn't.
I don't think it's a piece of shit, but it's disappointing.
yeah, I didn't hear amazing things about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It
They
sucks,
should have
but-
just picked up exactly from
should've.
where they left off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. And also just took too long. It's silly.
Oh yeah, it took forever for them
It
to
took
fucking-
forever. Yeah, and then Monsters Inc. is up
Because the
there.
beginning of Incredibles 1 ends with the mole guy coming out
Yeah,
of the
Mole
ground,
Guy,
right?
the underminer, pops out of the floor,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Fuck you guys."
All right.
Fuck this road in particular, he says.
Yeah, I think they undermined their credibility in the franchise.
Oh, you character,
Oh,
you.
yeah, I'm so funny.
This is why you're a renowned wit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ratatouille is solid. Definitely.
Ratatouille is good. Yeah,
I
really
like
the vibe of Ratatouille.
And like probably the most memorable bit in Ratatouille to me is, because it seems like it gets memed the most as well too, is when the gourmet critic eats a ratatouille for the first time, right? And
yeah,
there's like
for
flashbacks, like his childhood.
Anton Ego is one of the best
Yeah.
characters in any Pixar movie. The best Ratatouille
I don't
most stand
like
out.
food.
I love. Yeah, most stand out is like, gets criticized once, fucking dies. That's always gonna be good.
Will always be funny.
The guy threatening that he's killed like 6 men with his thumb. I like that. And I enjoy that moment when he's describing when he like closes his eyes and he's like seeing how the food tastes and he's describing it to his brother. It's like shitty version of that. I always like that. It throws me back to like when they did Fantasia and they did like visual representations of the music.
Yeah, I think Ratatouille, even if I probably wouldn't watch Ratatouille again very often.
I haven't
like,
seen it in a long time.
It's like you can respect what they were doing with that movie. You know, it's about creativity and dreams and all that. And it's very cool.
And the best Pixar movie was actually made by DreamWorks. It's called How to Train Your
Shrek
Dragon.
2.
How to Train Your Dragon. That's an interesting one.
It's a good movie.
I mean, which Pixar movie is better than Shrek 2? Serious question.
Well, what movie is better than Shrek 2?
Incredibles, I might say, maybe.
I don't know.
They're very different movies. I mean, Incredibles is more like interesting and somber, and Shrek 2 is funnier.
Yeah.
Although Incredibles is a very funny movie.
No, it is
a really
funny.
good movie.
Yeah.
Like I love when he gets out of his car and he slides on the skateboard and he dents the roof of his car. And he picks it up or when he punches his boss through 50 fucking walls.
And then his bitch wife is like, the car, what happened to the car?
When I love that cut when the message he receives self-destructs and it sets off the sprinklers and then they don't have anything else. It just cuts to them drying their books with a hairdryer. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I remember the
I work
Incredibles.
alone, buddy.
The Incredibles, they put a ton of like extras on the DVD, and when I was a kid, I just plowed through those. Like every hero who dies in Edna's flashback, or that the computer shows was killed by the robot, they just like little bios for all of them. It's like, oh, that's
Dude.
cool.
Do you remember fucking Toy Story always used to do bloopers at the end?
Oh yeah.
Like when you finish Toy Story 2, you'd have. I always remember like.
The bloopers were really funny sometimes.
Yeah, they were. I always remember Woody sitting on like a roll of sellotape and he like falls through it and he gets his ass stuck in it. And then like Stinky Pete is like forgetting his lines and they do the thing where he's like, use your head, and Rex runs through the grate, but it just bashes into it and they don't break it.
The bloopers I remember are one that I've heard they've actually cut it out in like current releases of it. There's a you know how Stinky Pete is always in his box, right?
Yeah, he's stuck in it with a little wire
because he's never been opened. But like, I think it was either Woody like hears whispering coming from his box and it's like turned away and he turns it around and it's Stinky Pete talking to two Barbie dolls, and it's like, I actually know how you can get into Toy Story 3.
Oh.
And they're like, hi guys.
Point at the screen.
Thing, and they cut that out of future releases.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose.
Hey, Green, what do you think of if we do a really quick, like, I have a Pixar tier list right here, and there's not that many movies.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, if you...
I can't imagine it taking more than 5 minutes.
Damn it!
I mean, I don't think we have a lot more to say about 2024. We talked about all the cool stuff that
We
came
did
out.
we did watch Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 in 2020.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That was a good time. I still want to watch Shrek 4. I still think that movie has some fun bits. Shrek 3, whatever. I don't care.
I will excuse
it's the one
myself
with,
and go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Bye,
what?
Jaws.
You going to
Yeah,
bed?
Sorry, Jaws, we couldn't hear you.
He said he would excuse himself and go to sleep.
Well,
Good night,
adios, sir.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for saying
Thanks.
hi.
Thanks for hanging out, Jaws.
Good night.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see this?
No,
Can you see
hold
this?
on.
Where the hell's Shrek?
I had almost beaten.
Shrek is not a Pixar.
I had
It's an
almost
honorary
beaten
Pixar.
Bennett Foddy, so I had to.
Oh, thank God I
pause.
gave you something useful to fucking.
I will beat you with a stick. Okay, let's look at this shit.
Oh, they seem to be in semi-chronological order, which is interesting. Okay. Man, look, it's the original Toy Story.
I would say A.
A.
Yeah, I feel A too.
Pretty good.
I went.
It's a good movie.
I went fight S, but it's it's what started
I
it all.
think.
I
the
think Toy
effects-
Story 2 is better than Toy Story
Yeah,
1.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. I would say Toy Story 2 is ARS. It's
We can
got
put it
some
S
really
for now.
good moments.
It's
I
been
don't
a-
know.
Really good.
It's been
a
too
long
long.
time.
I
I'll
can't
put
believe
it
I have
away.
to drive. I can't believe I have to drive all the way to work on a Saturday. All the way to work. Cuts
I-
across 4 lanes of traffic.
Toy Story 2, the effects hold up way better than
They
1.
do,
Like,
yeah.
1, the dog and Sid look fucking
Yeah.
wonky.
Yeah, it's hard to beat up on Toy Story 1 too
Yeah,
much.
I know,
because
I know,
it was like they had to do it from scratch basically.
Oh, yeah,
it was like
totally.
the first fucking movie.
It's got so many iconic moments.
Yeah, it was
that
like,
intro.
You
that you're
are a toy.
Yeah, you are a toy. I was just thinking that the fucking little green man.
All the Buzz Lightyears in the aisle in Al's
Yeah.
Toy Barn. It's fucking great.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
2 has like actual like emotional moments, like fucking Jesse's backstory is so fucking sad.
That shit freaked me out as a kid. I
Yeah,
wanted to
same.
fast forward through that.
Yeah.
Toy
Has everyone else watched Toy Story 3?
I've seen Toy Story 3.
I've
I don't
seen
think
it.
it was that memorable.
I don't beat.
B,
I would put
probably.
it did not offend me though, generally.
Well,
so I would put it
I'm
as B. And it has a good ending. Like I'll admit,
I
it's
grew
like-
up, yeah.
it's
I grew
good.
up with these movies like I was the right ages for them when they came out. Like I was like I don't know 6 or 7 when I first saw the first one, and then I was like 9 when I saw the second one, and then when I watched the third one I was like 17, 18, and that ending where he gives away his toys, I saw that in the cinema and I was like getting slightly teary-eyed because I was like, oh man, it's like these were my I had all these toys as a kid too. Like I had my own Buzz.
Yeah,
and Woody, and,
I'll admit that
yeah.
like while I don't like or find most of Toy Story 3 memorable, it is
Yeah.
the perfect ending to that movie.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and there should not have been any more after it.
No, I agree.
Like,
And Toy
that's
Story 4
exactly how it
is
should
a
have been.
C. Like it's not terrible, but it feels unnecessary and stupid and kind of lame.
Well, right.
Like, I watched
Anything
it
after
and
Toy
I didn't
Story
feel
3 is
anything.
unnecessary and stupid.
Yeah,
You know, very
Fundamental.
just thought Toy Story and Toy Story 2, they both end with massive flight related chase scenes where one of the toys uses their signature power to overcome the
Did you
Hell
say
yeah.
1 and 2?
Yeah, both 1 and 2, because 1
Yeah,
is them
sorry,
moving and Buzz uses his wings to fly,
Yeah,
and
3
2 is like doesn't
3
Woody,
and
doesn't Woody have to like lasso something to get out of the plane?
Yeah, I think you're right.
he puts his string that his voice
his
string
boot?
gets stuck on the plane
Yeah,
that he uses. Yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
3 they're in the trash compactor. Man, what about Bugs
Yeah.
Life? I used to love this movie as a kid.
Same. I don't think
I
it
think
holds
It's either
up.
a B or a
Humble.
C.
No, I don't think so. This has a glaring problem, which is it's one of the classic like super misunderstanding plots that really fucking annoy me. Like
Like an
when it
animal.
comes,
Oh.
like when they find out that he wasn't really, the big savior dude, and he was.
Yeah.
And it was like a thing, and it's like a misunderstanding. And the prince is like, "You lied to us," and then it's like 20 minutes of just like useless, fucking, stupid bullshit where they're all angry at him before they all get together at the end to beat fucking Super Cricket.
I thought it was a B or a C. Do you actually think it's a D?
No.
I don't.
I'd say
I
B.
don't think it's an A though. Yeah, B seems fine. That's just like one part of it. That's not most. Of the
Also,
movie.
I mean, the evil locust guy, he's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, Hopper.
he's pretty cool.
I'll give
Hopper,
Bugs Life.
yeah.
I'll give Bugs
Yeah,
Life
Hopper's
credit.
good.
It had, adult themes in it
Yeah,
for that were subtle for how dark they were. Like
Yeah.
it's about
Like the
it's about a
caterpillar saying, "I
motorcycle
want to be a
gang
butterfly."
enslaving like a bunch of peasants, and then they get
That's
a bunch
true.
of
Yeah, that's what's up.
carnies to murder them. It's
Oh,
You know what I always thought looked really good in those movies when they're drinking like the like dewy water drops, and they like
Yeah.
suck them up. I always thought,
Yeah, they
"Oh,
look
that looks
tasty.
tasty." Yeah.
looks tasty.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Finding
also,
Nemo. Oh man. Oh yeah. Go on. Say more
And
things.
then, like, what's a classic Hopper line from A Bug's Life? It's like, everything is your
When
fault.
first
when
rule of
everyone.
leadership.
Oh
What is the line again?
First rule of leadership: everything's
Yeah.
your fault.
Yeah, which is a
when
good one.
everyone is insects, no one will. I love that line.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. I mean, it's got to be at least A.
I might go S for Nemo, honestly.
I mean, it's pretty flawless, isn't it?
The characters are good, and with the amount of it's like the peak of research heavy animation, where
Yeah.
they tried so hard to model all the
true.
different fish and
Yeah, and it still looks great. It's like
Also, the fish in the
almost 25 years old.
who's the cool fish in the tank when Nemo gets
The
in
guy
there?
with the scar. Yeah, I was thinking of that guy, the zebra fish. What is he
Okay.
called? Fuck.
Just forget. Oh, well, everyone
He has
knows
a
what I
cool
mean,
name.
right?
Yeah. Nemo zebra. Gil. That's his name.
Gil, that's right. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, look at this guy. Yeah, I love that reveal when he turns around. That's such a clever use of a flat. Like that's what
Yeah.
Green was talking about, like the research thing. Yeah, I mean it's a really fucking funny, good movie. Yeah, I agree. I love.
Yeah, I would.
I love
I'm not,
the sharks.
it's. I think it's worthy of S tier. It's definitely doesn't
Yeah.
get much better than that for Pixar. So
I never watched Finding Dory. But
Neither
I
did
saw
I, so-
little bits and it seemed cringe.
D.
yeah, it never needed to be made.
Well, let's just forget this.
Yeah.
Um,
Monsters Inc.
I say
A? Yeah, A.
At
I-
least
plot-
an
A. I don't think
I don't
it's
think
quite
it's
S.
S.
I
Yeah.
won't. I won't be mean about S if someone else thinks S. But
It has kind of like meandering moments in its story where it like it is kind of just like such a simple plot, but it kind of like waffles back and forth with all the stuff with that end like stretch with the crab guy and the
water
doors and
news.
all that. Yeah, all that stuff is not as charming as the initial like stretch of the movie, I think.
Yeah, but the emotional core is still in that of letting Boo go.
Yeah, that's fine and all, but yeah, I don't think that makes it like an S tier the way parts of
Yeah,
Nier are like
I would
equally
agree with
strong.
It is pretty
Yeah,
fucking
like-
funny, though.
When like they're stuck with the snowman and he's got his yellow ice coat. Okay, can we get to the end?
yeah, I'm gonna say Nemo. I see Nemo as something that's gonna be a museum someday. It's like yeah, like if you were going to give an example of like this is the most technically proficient that that American CG animation ever was. Like Nemo could be it.
Yeah, I agree.
Monsters Inc. is still a great movie. I don't think it's quite S, but it's not a big spread. It's still a great movie.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I do like the part where they jump through the sideways door, and Mike's like, "That was weird."
Yeah,
It's like Portal.
yeah. This goes in D.
What is it?
Monsters U.
Oh yeah,
This goes in D.
Yeah.
Oh boy, The Incredibles.
Incredibles S.
For me, it's S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say it is pretty
yeah.
much.
I won't argue with people like objectively, technically, it's not as like perfect or airtight as Nemo, but man, I love that. I like that. I like the situation and like the vibe more.
And it has a perfect script too. There's not an ounce of fat in The Incredibles.
Perfect character designs too. Like I
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
how
they are
took that
genuinely
like
great.
they took that like 50s like the kind of aesthetic that like Powerpuff Girls is kind of riffing on, of like those kind of like old silhouette heavy character designs and different body shapes and
Also,
just tweaked it for 3D perfectly.
Yeah.
It's so good. The outfits are
what's
so
the
good, like
name?
the retro vibe of them.
Does anyone remember? Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Like the speedy kid in the family. He reminds me of Isidro
Dash.
a lot.
Of who?
Oh yeah,
Isidro.
Isidro. Yeah, he's kind of like Isidro. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Still a similar niche and role
yeah.
there.
And Violet is Shirky.
Oh, I thought she was Tomoko. She has the
Not
bags.
quite.
Yeah, it's good. Incredibles just has no flaws really.
I love how dark it gets. Like, I love when they're he's going through the records of all the dead fucking heroes,
Yeah,
and you see their fucking skeleton
Yeah.
shit sometimes. Like,
and they killed a villain at the end too.
yeah, they do.
He doesn't even...
Fucking get sucked into a fucking airplane by the
Yeah, he went Indiana
and they
Jones
set it
down.
up. They set it up when Edna is designing their new suits.
It does bug me a bit because this is just a personal thing. I sometimes don't like stories where the conceit of the story is, oh yeah, really cool stuff used to exist, but everything sucks now. That just bugs me a little sometimes, and Incredibles does do that. At least
It is
at
a
the
bit
end.
okay, boomer. You're right.
Yeah,
I do
like,
love. I love how grungy that scene is though when they're like trying to be superheroes and they get like in the car and they put like face masks on and they
Yeah.
like stop a robbery and he freezes that guy's bullet.
freeze it, and him. He freezes the cop in a sheet of
Yeah.
ice, which definitely didn't kill him.
I'm just having a drink. I heard you. Freeze.
The idea of that is so funny too, because like if they show up and someone was frozen solid from the outside, I feel like they're gonna know who did that.
That's also Do you think it was that Frozen guy used to
Yeah.
exist? Yeah. But yeah, it handles that stuff really well. Where it's
Yeah.
still poking fun at the heroes, kind of like Mr. Incredible. Yeah, okay, it was bullshit what happened to him, but like also they're also criticizing his way of thinking. Like
Yeah.
he is too focused on like glory and the old days and not appreciating
yeah.
what he had.
Oh, that argument
And he's
after
like
he gets back, like that's like the ultimate like arguing, like men and women arguing scene. That's so fucking.
It's a great one.
Where she's like, "This is not about you." It's like
Yeah,
that's
she's-
exactly what it's like.
It's so clever how like they use their powers like naturally. Like she sticks her head out to be this like higher,
Yeah.
taller than him.
And
'Cause
he
even though
grabs
he's
her
fucking
neck
huge, like-
and-
Yeah, it's so funny. And then the kids walk in and they pretend they're just like cuddling.
yeah. Oh, the tax scene is so funny too.
Dude, there's so many good scenes when
Yeah.
just the visuals of like him being gigantic in his tiny office cubicle and he keeps knocking his pencils over.
Yeah.
And he's like having to tell this little lady that they're not gonna pay her insurance out.
Oh yeah,
It's so
and
sad.
that just happened too with Luigi shooting the CEO.
Oh yeah, that's
No,
you should have
people have been
punched
posting.
the CEO through a wall.
I've been seeing people posting that.
It's
just-
also Incredibles is not afraid to have like a one scene wonder too. Like Edna's one of the best Pixar characters.
Yes.
and she's there for
Yes.
she's there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
legendary.
Okay.
Yeah, and even like they have cool like action scenes, which is like rare Western animated films as much. Like all the stuff on the island with them like using Violet and all their powers in different combinations to fight the guys and like the flying things and the plane is crashing and all this stuff. Like, that shit's
Yeah.
cool. Mr. Incredible uses the fucking arm of the robot to blast through itself. Yeah.
I'd put
Goes
it low.
with unnecessary sequel shit.
Cars is pretty good.
Cars is better than you'd think, right? I think B probably.
That's fine.
It's a fun movie for how stupid it looks.
Also, when I was a kid, for inexplicable reasons, one of my favorite movies was called Doc Hollywood.
What?
Yeah. Who's the guy? Who's the guy with? Who's the guy with the degenerative nerve disease from Back to the Future?
Michael J.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. it's a movie where he crashes into someone's. No, that's Doc Holliday from Tombstone.
What did you say? Doc Hollywood.
Hollywood. Like where they make the movies, Hollywood.
Yeah, I know.
You can't spell it, motherfuckers. So do you?
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But
I've never heard of this movie.
it wasn't a successful movie, but it's a rom-com about a plastic surgeon who's moving to LA from some other smaller city. On his way there, he crashes in this southern town, and he destroys the local judge's fence, and he sentences him to like weeks of community service. Kind of hoping that he takes over
as
for the
a plastic surgeon.
Well, he has the skills to be a general practitioner. He's still an MD. He just went into plastic surgery later. But he has to take over for the local doctor who's old, and then all the townspeople are trying to get him to stay there. And then he meets this cute neighbor, and there's a romance. But it's just Cars. Like Cars just stole the plot of Doc Hollywood. They're the same movie.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
it's even the same thing of like they clumsily destroy local infrastructure as they pass through and then get stuck there, tasked with fixing it.
That's interesting. I used to like. Oh yeah, that's the thing we did in 2024 where we watched Ride for Rabbit though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to like Cars a lot as a kid. Like I was really into Cars as a kid. I like collected loads of Hot Wheels and knew all the brands and stuff. And I had little toys of all the characters from Cars. But ultimately, it's just they're just like Cars.
Yeah.
And the guy's not that interesting.
Also, Cars was Pixar kind of tossing a W to American rednecks a little.
Yeah.
Whereas like this one's for you. I feel like I probably like Cars a little more because I know several people who act like some of the characters.
It's like a ghost.
I guess so.
Yeah, this is it's solid.
It had
I
some
never
good
watched
moments.
2 or 3.
Just a quick note, Michi, though. I just never knew you liked Cars. I don't mean the movie. I just mean Cars in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because
When I was like a little
because
kid, I
that's-
used to just like at a glance know like what make any car was because I was just like obsessed with toy cars and
Oh,
stuff. My parents would buy me like these nice
I did the
models
exact
of
same
them.
thing as a kid. It's just I kept up with it, so like I still know.
Yeah,
every
no.
song.
Then I just forgot. And
No, my
Got into
my
Pokemon
brothers
and
used to
stuff,
make fun
probably.
of me because I don't know anything about cars.
yeah, I don't either anymore.
I've changed
Well,
my own oil.
I just basically don't post about it or say anything because I just assume no one else likes them, which is probably true. But
Probably.
that's,
I did not
It's
watch.
true.
I watched no other cars.
Yeah, I watched no other cars.
did I. So
Ratatouille,
Uh,
A or S?
I'll
That's it.
I'll say
Yeah, I think it's an
A.
A.
I would say A or B, so A is fine.
I think it's worthy
It's
of an A.
strong. It's a good movie.
I don't love Wall-E. I acknowledge it's a really good movie.
I'm with you, Green. Like I think it's a really good movie, but it was never like something I was like, oh man, I love Wall-E the same way I loved Nemo or Incredibles.
It's like
I think
watching a gymnast do a quadruple flip. You go, man, that's objectively incredible. You pulled that off. I just don't care that much.
It also came out
Like you
around the
had what you
time
got, right?
Yeah.
where I was like it came out when I was like 11, 12, and I was just like starting to get less into Disney and cartoons and more into like anime and stuff. So I still thought it was like cool, but the stuff with him on the planet is stronger than him on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Definitely.
B maybe.
B, yeah, it feels more like a. I think it could have been. I know this is weird, but I feel in some ways it could have been like a really strong short, more than a movie.
That's
Like
fair.
if it was just like a 20 to 30-minute short of him like on the planet looking for stuff, and then he like uncovers Eve, the girl robot, and then it ends with them like holding hands. Like that'd be cool. I don't really need the whole plot of like Earth, being destroyed and stuff like that. I feel like Up is probably also like a B because of the latter half.
Up is either strong B or weak A.
Yeah,
I'd say it's a B.
B's fine.
I feel similar. Yeah, I think that first half is like very good. Like the section everyone likes the montage of him and his wife. I like the stuff early
Although in
on
some
with
ways,
him.
as much as I like that montage, I almost feel like the film kind of blew its load early.
Yeah,
with
that's
that, too.
what I'm
'Cause
saying.
it's like okay, like you're not gonna do anything stronger than that.
Yeah,
You never made sure the show
it annoys
started.
me that it has like it has like 3 comic reliefs. Like the kid is a comic relief, then the talking dog, and then the stupid bird. And they just all like show up, and then there's the squeaky voiced bad dog. It's like too much for me. All of them in the jungle being good.
Yeah,
I like the stuff in the house when he's just like being a grumpy old man and telling people to fuck off.
Like me.
Yeah. Man, don't you feel bad when the construction worker hits the sign and he's trying to be nice about it? And
Yeah,
that was
I feel
fucked
I
up.
feel really bad.
That was very cringy.
Yeah, he's like bleeding from his head.
It's a weird thing with these movies. You can always tell when the bullshit is creeping in. Because, like, the stronger, earlier ones, they have plenty of funny moments, but they don't have, like, contrived, obviously slipping this in just to have the kids laugh moments. Yeah, the humor is just, like, an organic outgrowth of the characters doing what makes sense. Then eventually you get characters who just doing stupid, annoying things is the only reason. I guess Dory's the only example where that worked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Brave, I don't know.
See,
Never saw Brave, so I can't.
I saw it like twice, but it was so like unmemorable. I found it very uninteresting.
Without Wilt.
Inside Out.
I'd say A.
A? Okay.
I won't fight B, but I'd say A. I watched it in theaters like 10 years ago, and I cried in theaters. It's like, well, I think I have to give that an A.
I'm gonna say this is I'm gonna say 2 is a strong B. Although
you do you, man. I didn't watch that.
I mean, I like it a bit more than this one, but I don't think this one is A. I would put them both in B. So
okay.
I don't know. I'll put this one in B because it's just me.
I'm not. I don't know anything about any of these.
Didn't you watch?
I watched
Yeah.
Soul actually. Soul's the only one I've seen.
Is it a D?
Fuck. Maybe C.
That's the ugliest character design I've ever
I'll
seen.
say C. Soul is not worthless. Like, it had some good ideas. It had some good moments. It's just too much. We've done the same movie over and over and over again, and it's and it is ugly. The characters are ugly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I don't want to say it's valueless because they definitely did have some good ideas, but I would never watch it again.
I'm going to add like another tier below this for like F.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Why? Damn, I didn't know either.
Because I don't think some of these are like. I think there's some mid ground here. I think this is definitely F.
What is an F?
I'm moving Monsters U to F, and then I'm gonna say Coco is here probably, and I put Coco in D, and
I mean F is terrible. Like,
and
F
I'm gonna put
like.
And I'm gonna
just
put
like garbage.
Elemental there too. Like, these movies just aren't good enough. Turning Red, I probably enjoyed more than I should, but it's still kind of cringe, so I'm gonna put it in C. And then no one else has watched any of these.
What are these other ones? Can you just read what they are real quick?
Good Dinosaur, Onward, Luca, the Buzz Lightyear one, and then
Cars 2,
Cars
3. Okay, yeah, these
Cars 3 is on with the planes.
They should have just called it Planes then. Oh wait, that was
Hey,
Taken.
There's a movie called Planes.
We except for Monsters U, we have a
not
perfect
Pixar.
bell curve, sideways bell curve.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
funny.
this,
So our
this
only
means,
S tiers
this means we're
are
right.
our only S tiers are Nemo and
The Incredibles.
Mr. Incredible, or The Incredibles.
And Nemo was slightly controversial, so I think that just means Incredibles wins.
Incredibles wins. Incredibles wins today.
The superhero slop was actually the best that Pixar ever did.
I mean,
when
it's fire.
whenever I see
I'm not saying it's bad. It's good.
and
I know.
and whenever I see Soul, I always think about that green text of like the trajectory of Pixar, where it's like, what if toys had feelings? What if bugs had
Yeah.
feelings? What if fish had feelings?
Oh,
What if
Yeah, what
feelings
if
had
black people
feelings?
had
What if
feelings?
black people had feelings? It's like,
what if the French had feelings? That's Ratatouille.
oh,
What
also
if rats
the
had
girl
feelings, I
from
guess.
the girl from Ratatouille is very cute. I feel like we didn't
Yeah,
acknowledge that.
I do like the big nosed.
I
French lady.
don't hate the big nose. It's not appealing to me though.
I mean,
Like,
I
it's
don't
a little.
think Pixar movies have a lot of like cute girls in them to begin with.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I know.
Ratatouille was one of the few times they kind of pulled it off.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Violet's kind of cute at the end when she's
it
at the
ends-
ball game.
Yeah, it's somewhat endearing. Like it's kind of like ugly, but in like an endearing way, rather than just like looking like shit. I'm pretty harsh though.
The cutest Pixar character is Ennui from Inside Out 2.
Oh god.
From what? From what?
From Inside Out 2.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Inside Out 2, so
I like
Let me
that
see what
thing.
she
What is she called? The green. Yeah, this thing. I forget what the fuck is.
I have to admit though, the picture where she's looking straight up in
Yeah, that's one. Yeah,
that
looks like Patrick. Yeah.
It
Oh,
looks
she's
like home movies.
Oh, that's Envy. That's what. It does look like home movies. She looks like the guy. Yeah.
Oh
Random.
god, yeah, that's the
yeah.
whole movies guy.
That's just home movies. Yeah, she's just on her phone a lot.
Oh, also
She's
Anger looks a bit like Coach.
He does. Yeah, and Envy is I like her.
I
She's
will
great.
say the
Anxiety.
Anxiety is the main character of the second one.
Oh shit.
I don't think
She's the villain? Question mark.
Oh yeah, well the whole point of the first one was accepting sadness is a legitimate
that's the whole
thing.
thing,
Like
yeah.
like what purpose does anxiety serve?
Well, anxiety starts taking over, like, and kicking out the other emotions because she's overriding, like, the system by trying to help Riley and make her life, like, she wants to avoid any kind of embarrassment or bad feelings for Riley, so she kind of takes over the system.
I'm
It's
with
clever.
anxiety. Good for them.
Yeah, like, she throws the first movie's 5 emotions out of the cockpit, and they have to kind of, like, she makes it's like a 1984 police state where she's like,
Oh
we
yeah.
just have to be like, act like how people want us to, and not have any like cringe moments. Like, it's really funny. Like there's moments where, because Riley's like a teen now, and she's like hanging out with other girls. The girls are being like, like they're asking what she thought of like this, and she wants to be excited for it, but then that would be lame. So Ennui like pulls the lever, and she goes, it was whatever. And then if they don't think she's cool, like it's funny. I like it.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Well, we did it. We solved another tier list. I'm downloading this, and I'm putting it in the chat.
Well,
It's like a town crier thing. Now hear this.
we did it.
I'm gonna nail this to the church door. A printout of this.
Also, at this point, no, there's no one here anymore. I think I'm gonna end the stream though.
we could stop the stream. Well, that was fun.